The president defended his administration's efforts to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census today after a Supreme Court ruling blocked his right to do exactly that. Take a listen.
During the week, you tweeted out your displeasure with the Supreme Court's decision on the census, and you suggested you may seek to delay.
Yeah, I think it's very unfortunate.
Are you in fact going to try to delay the census?
Well, we're looking at that legally. They're not allowed to ask whether or not somebody's a citizen of the United States. How horrible and ridiculous is that? So we are looking at that, yeah, sure.
Do you know
because
if
it wasn't a real decision that, boom, this is the way it is.
The justice said that your guys were playing politics and deciding not to count nonsense.
Hey, who's really playing politics, okay? Check it out. You tell me who's playing politics.
Thomas Saenz, the president and general counsel of Maldef, the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, is joining me right now. Thomas, with a welcome. So first of all, take me through what data is gathered by the census and what this ruling means, how it affects that.
Well, on the Decennial Census, we collect data on every person residing in the United States by household. So that means everyone from the youngest child to the oldest adult in a household is reported by their name, by where they live, their age, their gender, their race and ethnicity, and various other categories applicable to all persons. Now, throughout the decade, the Census Bureau collects sample data through surveys of a sample of households across the country on a number of other matters, including the issue of U.S. citizenship. Okay,
so this ruling, is this an end to the issue? Because constitutionally, this census has to be taken next year in 2020. And just from a logistics standpoint, it has to be printed, it has to be disseminated. I mean, there's only so much time.
That's absolutely right. We have to take the census in 2020. There's no delaying it. The question is, how soon does the Bureau have to have a final questionnaire to print? And they've stated all along that June 30th, tomorrow, is their absolute deadline. So it's hard to see how the administration could, consistent with that testimony, argue that it should have time to come up with another rationale for including the citizenship question, as the Supreme Court has ordered it to do. That's the narrow possibility that they have. Provide something other than the lie that was presented by Secretary Ross a year ago, and you might have a chance of having the question included.
So, Thomas, we're showing the tweet from the president who wants the census to be delayed, presumably knowing constitutionally it must be taken in the year 2020. Any chance that will happen then?
No chance whatsoever. I always have doubts about how well Donald Trump understands the Constitution, but in this case, I'm sure he will get good advice, I hope, from his lawyers that you cannot delay the census. Again, the question is, how long can you delay the questionnaire in 2019? But there are still many looming problems for including the citizenship question, including whether there is any rationale other than the lie that was offered by Secretary Ross.
The New York Times article argues that with or without a citizenship question, damage has already been done within the immigrant groups because of the political climate. Do you agree with that?
Well, we already do have a daunting task ahead to get everyone counted, and part of that is because of the atmosphere created by this administration. The Census Bureau itself knows from its own experiences in the work that it does throughout the decade, in its own focus grouping, there is an atmosphere of fear and distrust, perhaps unprecedented, with respect to the federal government, and that has been created by the Trump administration's really concerted effort through tweet and otherwise to create an atmosphere of fear and confusion.